Yo, guys, welcome back. Today is a very special day, not really a super spicy day for Bitcoin or crypto markets, but we have a very spicy guest that we're going to bring on in just a minute here. Everybody, smash the like button, smash the subscribe, share the stream, engage, ask questions. Let's be good hosts. The more you engage, the more you like and subscribe, the more engagement YouTube sees the stream having, thinks people are enjoying it, and shows it to more eyes. So please, let's get to 420 likes today. I think we can do it. Real quick, market's pretty flat. Total crypto market cap not really moving. Oil's down a little bit. Gold up a little bit. Dollar down, kind of following oil. Markets are relatively flat. We have some news going on, some kind of seemingly big news articles, but not really. I think they're mostly nothing burgers, like Google getting into, partnering with whatever. Guys, Google has partnered with crypto a million times. I'm not going to get my hopes up this time. I'm going to just flip through these. We had some live stream trades yesterday. We took a scalp short on Bitcoin. That hit. Triple Q, still short, didn't quite hit our take profit, but we have barely even revisited our entry. So that's looking good. NASDAQ, same thing, really, same play. We were going short on a little bit of a rally on yesterday's stream. Still playing. Matic barely didn't fill, but we had the right idea. And finally, Ethereum, we looked for a scalp long. This is our one loser from yesterday. And we got to share the losses. So without further ado, let's bring on. And this is the first time using this streaming software this way. So let's bring on Sir Kevin. Guys, make sure you go subscribe to Kevin on Twitter. His links are in the video description below. I forgot.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Good to have you here, man.
I can't tell necessarily when I'm on camera, but I can see I can see everything.
You are now on camera.
Cool. What's up, guys? How's it going? Glad to be here, man. Me and Tom have been planning to do this, trying to do this for a while, and we finally made it happen. So let's go.
Yeah, right. It took us a long time to make this happen, embarrassingly long, actually. But we did it, and it only had a few hiccups. So here we are.
And yesterday, I thought it was supposed to be that I thought I missed it. I was like, I'm so sorry, Tom. I missed this trip. He's like, dude, the stream's tomorrow. You're good. I'm like,
yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You're really early, actually. Please don't be so early. So yeah, man, it's great to have you on. For those not familiar with Kevin, he's one of the few technical analysts in the space that I think has the stuff. Very sharp guy. I like the way you look at charts and the space in general. So he's a great guy to follow. Definitely check out his content. His links, like I said, in the video description below. Man, I haven't collabed on my channel in a while. I'm rusty.
I did my first collab 2 weeks ago, but that was a great intro. Those were some nice compliments. Right. I appreciate it.
Not bad. Well, they were meant to be very good, so I could communicate how I feel to my viewers about your stuff. Because I won't lie, I'm pretty critical of most content in crypto, and I think it deserves to be pointed out when there's some good stuff. So
I appreciate that.
I don't know, what are you looking at? I said the market's a little flat, but is anything catching your eye today or this week?
No, I mean, the real thing that, I don't know if my screen is on.
Is it up.
Yeah, oh, okay, it is. So the one thing about Bitcoin recently, I guess we'll just go to this chart. Whoops, that has like way too many indicators. Here, I'll just remove it. Is Bitcoin and the S&P 500. It's been like very correlated, though recently we've seen a little bit of less correlation. So if you look at this, and a lot of people have been saying stuff like, oh, Bitcoin's holding up against the stock market. But it's like, it's minimal, I would say. There is some of that happening. But what I notice is that if you look at this chart, this is Bitcoin and the S&P paired. And you can see that pretty much every time we bounce and rally, it's because the S&P is rallying. Almost every single time we're holding support, S&P is rallying. And we had the S&P see a lot of upside speculation, right? It bounced way more than Bitcoin. And people were actually complaining that Bitcoin wasn't bouncing as much as the S&P right there. And then when it dumped, people were cheering, oh, it's not dumping as much. And I thought, guys, wait a second. We didn't have as much upside in Bitcoin, so we're not having as much downside. It's almost just as if there's less speculation in the Bitcoin market overall, right? It's just, that's what it seems like. If you take a look, these bounces were way bigger for the S&P. And so I'm still, even though the S&P is at a slightly lower low, it's still so close. Like, if the S&P has a major dump, I mean, Bitcoin's likely going to be following it.
Yeah.
So I'm still very much just watching the S&P and waiting to see what happens. Of course, right now everyone is super fearful, and maybe it's time to be greedy at least a little bit. Accumulating for the long term, I think is fine, right? Some people asking, is it okay to buy? I would say as long as you're not expecting, instant rewards, instant returns. Yeah, I mean, accumulating below 20K, sure, that's great. I mean, long term, probably going to do fantastic. Another thing that I'm watching is the US dollar index, which has been on this epic parabolic trajectory.
Unreal.
And we haven't seen any signal of a, my phone's ringing, any signal of a down, a breakdown has not occurred. And we've just been turning previous resistance into support, all the way up, still in the parabola. Fed is likely going to raise rates because we do have the September jobs report, or where is it? Yeah, better than expected jobs report, which means there's probably going to be more spending. The Fed's going to have to raise rates, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know. The US dollar index still seems strong. So no sign of a trend change yet. I don't know. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, agreed. I have a question for you. So we started with correlation of stocks to Bitcoin, and I've definitely been watching this too. Actually, I see your tweets, and that's probably a big reason I started looking at it. In your mind, do you think it's a stock Bitcoin correlation, or do you think it's actually bigger and kind of just an asset Forex correlation? What are your thoughts there?
That's a good question. I usually compare it to the S&P, though you can make the argument that it's more correlated to the NASDAQ and riskier assets, fine. Though it's generally the same. I mean, it's pretty much doing the same thing, even on like the minute time frame. Why is it correlated? I mean, that's a great question. I think it's likely just because Bitcoin is still heavily based on speculation, right? It's a speculation-driven asset, and there's a lot of leverage in the market. So when you have all of this risk, and then people see the stock market dumping, I mean, they're just gonna trade it based on that, right? Because I mean, now that we have Wall Street with crypto, they are not gonna be like hardcore Bitcoiners. They're trading this as just another asset, as just another opportunity. They're not gonna hodl to the moon. They're going to drop it like a hot potato when the stock market's going down. You see it? So it's like, it's just speculation driven. I mean, people look at the stock market for confidence. If the stock market's going up, Bitcoin can be as bullish as it wants. People look at the stock market's going down, Bitcoin snaps right into correlation. It's more correlated to the downside because of fear. You know what I mean? When the stock market's bullish, Bitcoin has less correlation. For example, right here, look at this. Much less correlation in the bull market when the S&P is just up and Bitcoin just rips, like does its own thing. And then once it starts going down, look how correlated it becomes, So it's just the confidence aspect, I think, is why it's being traded alongside the stock market. It's just a gauge of confidence,
I can see that. I'm always wondering because, I'm following that, and the low break we've seen it now on S&P 500, we've seen it on NASDAQ. I think we've seen it probably seen on Dow Jones. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. The break of June's low for me is the eye-catching part. For Bitcoin not to break it, and I agree. Like you said, they're kind of, Bitcoin's so close to it. It's not that dramatic of a difference, and I do agree. But just from a technical level of, you had a low kind of across all assets in June, then you see the indices breaking it, Bitcoin kind of hovering still at like 19K. That to me, we can say it's relative strength. We can say Bitcoin went up more, or it's come down more, whatever. But what do you think about that? What do you think? Wouldn't you expect? We've seen Bitcoin and crypto lead dumps. It's happened many times. In March 2020, Bitcoin dumped first before stocks. It was very close. But it's interesting to me to see that low hold, at least for now.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. There has been slight divergence. Like, there were days when, again, we're looking at the S&P, which is the yellow line. And right here, like the S&P was going down, and there was like this day right here where Bitcoin's going up against a down market. Now that quickly, it's too little of data to say that we've decoupled. People always say we decouple based on like one day, 1 week. And
Yeah,
it's like
one candle.
it's kind of foolish because what happens a week later, you snap back into correlation. A real decoupling is something that would take like months, years, and it would require a complete change in human behavior. People would have to stop looking at the stock market and stop trading it based on the stock market, because that's what's happening now, right? Because I mean, even I do that. I'll have stocks up on one screen, Bitcoin up on another, and if I see stocks like snap up in the short term, I'll say, okay, this might give me more of an edge here to long in the short term, and it works. It's like the stock market stacks up, Bitcoin lags a little bit in the short term, and then follows. And so it's just people like us that are just trading it. That's why it's correlated, is because we're trading it that way, right? So like we're all part of the correlation, especially if you're trading it in the way that I just said. And it's just speculation. But yeah, there's a little bit of divergence. But the one thing I've been always thinking with this is like, it'll probably just surprise us. Like if the stock market dumps heavily, Bitcoin will probably just snap down, and it'll just, and then all of a sudden within like hours you'll be like, oh, we're in the same position as the stock market. You know what I mean? It's usually how it goes.
Oh yeah. By the time you can see it, it's too late. That's like the one thing about charts that's almost always true. It's, if you're sitting waiting, it's like you're always going to look back and be like, oh, I missed it back there.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Are you surprised by Bitcoin not breaking its low with stocks? Because I was a little confused, and it does seem to, maybe its behavior be like following gold a little closer than it was.
My conclusion is this: it's just less speculation. Because here, let me show you this. This is kind of how I almost prove what my point here and why I think that my idea is correct. Is if you look at the stock market. And then let's just go to Bitcoin on this chart right here and go to the daily time scale. Okay, here's the S&P. And if you look at the bounce from March 15th of this year, from the low to high, that's 11%. And then the next bounce, this big one here, 11% to almost 20%. Okay, so this bounce was double as big as this one. Now go to Bitcoin. This bounce right here, nearly the same. Look, 46% up from this low to this high. 40. These are the same two bounces. Look, 46%, 40%, nearly the same percentage. But the S&P had a much larger bounce relative to its previous price action, right? 11% versus 20. Bitcoin 40. So the S&P had way more speculation up. It also ran to the downward sloping trend line, the S&P.
Yeah, it's clean.
And when you look at it, you know, again, we were on log scale. You go to log scale. Bitcoin did not reach that line, right? It's it's like this, far away. So the S&P, this bounce, if we sort of had the same velocity on the bounce, we would have reached about 30,000 before coming down to sort of match the S&P right there, which. So that's basically the way I prove that, okay, this is likely just means Bitcoin has less speculation currently. So that's about it. It's just less speculation up, less speculation down. If the S&P really wanted to snap down here, some major dump, I have no doubts that Bitcoin would follow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm seeing it too. But it's nice that at least we have that value. It's like 17.5. As long as we're above 17.5, and that, I think that just makes it easy to kind of A/B think about, or make it like a very simple binary thing.
Right.
As long as we're above it, you know, things are okay, and we're above it. You know, we're not really seeing that same strength across assets at the moment. I was actually the most surprised last month at gold. I remember waking up September 3rd or something, and I was like, I had like a cold sweat. You know, I don't really get afraid, or I don't really experience emotions from the market anymore. And that was the first time where I was like, wow, this is actually kind of scary. Gold, $10 trillion asset, breaking multi-year lows, kind of going into retracement.
Dump. That's right.
Yeah. With the dollar on a ripper. I was scared.
I wasn't really looking at gold because I guess I understand gold, or like why people like it, but I mean, why entertain it at all if you can just buy Bitcoin? Because look at this. I mean, it's a decade of zero gains. Actually 10% down in 11 years.
Yep.
And That means it's lost against inflation.
With record high inflation right now as it dumps. I do like that. It's redeeming though, because people like, the SpongeBob caps thing where it's a hedge against inflation, Bitcoin. It's like, and they would tout gold, and it's so satisfying to be like, well, where's your like sarcasm now? Your gold is breaking down on record inflation. I honestly think that that's a symptom of there's something just way bigger. There's something way bigger that is not in balance. Well, it's just not in balance. Things wrong. Things off.
To be honest, I think gold is being suppressed because that gold. Russia owns a lot of gold, and this is just a random theory. But I'm just thinking maybe it's being suppressed to sort of hurt the people that have huge gold stacks or something like that. Like, I don't know. It's manipulation. It could be like some sort of economic warfare thing. I really don't know. Gold should have gone up in the past 11 years.
It should have, right? It should have.
You would think.
It's interesting too, though. If you go back on gold, I was surprised to learn this. You probably know, but gold didn't have an ETF in the U.S. until 2004. I think it was 2004. It's like seemingly way later than it should have. And gold just went straight up for like 10 years, and it reached that point that you have on your chart there, and then it chilled into like that big basin cup. I don't know. I get out of the way.
You can absolutely make the argument that it's a cup and handle, and that's going to go. I mean, we do have record inflation, so yeah,
it should, right?
I
but
think
will
it probably will. Last time we had record inflation, gold did really well, right? If you look at the 1980s, as basically they were hiking interest rates to the moon. I mean, gold did really well in that environment. And right now, I'm not sure what's going on, but maybe there's going to be a lag. Maybe it's a lag currently. And, maybe they'll have the last laugh. It's a cup and handle. We go to the moon. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know. Last laugh. I have a hard time believing that gold will have the last laugh. But
not against Bitcoin, but I'm saying like for all the people that are talking crap on gold. I mean, Peter Schiff cheers about a 1% gain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a decade. He's been waiting for his gold to increase in value, and he lost his bank in that time. He has some bags to get rid of, I guess.
Yeah. So in the time since 11 years ago, gold has gone down like 10%. Bitcoin has gone up 170,000%.
Yep. Well, gold is clearly better. When I started in crypto, gold and Bitcoin, it was less adversarial. It was much more like if you had Bitcoin, you had gold. It was like the same mindset of kind of doomy, preppy kind of stuff. And it's interesting to see those thought processes like diverge into the last few years. It seems like now they're more adversarial and kind of like choose your team. I have no interest in
I blame Peter Schiff.
I blame Peter Schiff
for that.
I do too. It's 100% his fault.
It's just so ridiculous.
Do you own any gold?
No.
I own a little bit of Pax G, but that's
okay.
Gold or not. I had this whole like plan. I was like, well, Bitcoin, it shouldn't stop at 69K. It should keep going. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna sell this amount, each 1% up, and then I had like modified it to, and I'm going to take out of like all of the profit I take, I'm going to transfer like 5% of that to gold to take profit, just as like a diversification, in case dollars weren't looking so hot back then. And I never actually ended up doing it because, well, Bitcoin topped and that was that. But maybe I'm glad I didn't. I don't know.
It's like, I guess you can call it, I don't even know if you can call it a store of value. It's kind of a safe place, a stable place to put value.
Low volatility.
For old people, it's good so they don't get a heart attack. They'll just sit on gold and it does nothing for 10 years and then they feel good about it.
Like, yeah. Well, they're the same people finding a quarter on the ground and being like, holy smokers, I found a quarter. I'm rich. I feel bad. Actually, I'll say that. I feel bad for people at retirement age right now. This is a crazy time to be thinking about retirement, to be thinking about, long-term not having an income. Heart goes out to them because everything was fine 2 years ago. And now maybe they can't retire, or maybe, they don't have the resources to do things. I don't know. That was just a side thought. What else are you looking at? Is there anything else that you have your eye on in crypto or Forex? Well, stocks?
It's there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of really key things to be looking at right now. So, and honestly, like as much as I just want to talk about Bitcoin, really can't.
It's not interesting right now.
It's now.
okay.
It's all about traditional markets. And one thing you'll notice about every recession period is the S&P usually is falling below what I call the recession threshold, which is the 200 week. You can see in the bullish environments, we're just holding the 200 week. We're just bouncing off of it. We're just going up along it. And then 1974, we dump below the 200 week. And if you go over to 2001, 2008, hold on, my screen is being a little bit slow right now. You can see that, we get below the 200 week once again. And that is what I consider to be the recession threshold, because if you go to the bull markets, we're just bouncing off the 200 week. So it's like, if this is really a recession, it's probably going to go below the 200 week. I don't know when. I also don't know if it's going to be like a full-blown, full-scale recession. I mean, it seems like it. Everyone's saying it will be, but is everyone always right? I don't know.
Exactly. It makes me doubt it so much. It seems like that's what's going to happen, but everyone is so sold. Like, no one is bullish on anything right now, and that just like sets my trading and my investing senses off. It's like, we can't all be right. We can't all be right. We have to be wrong. And so it almost seems too obvious, but there's no hope.
Unless we get a fake out where it's like we bounce here off the 200 week, and then everyone says the recession's over, bounce. It's all good to go. That was recession was just overhyped, and then we snap down next year or something like that. Something like that could happen as well. I mean, some experts say that some experts say next year is going to be the worst part of the recession, that we haven't really seen it yet, that we haven't seen an earnings recession yet. Companies haven't started really, we have a big earnings season coming up this very soon in like a week or towards the end of the month.
Q4, we have Christmas and the whole retail thing coming up this year.
There's a lot of big ones at the end of October. A lot of big earnings reports coming out. So that could be a trigger. I mean, we'll see.
Do you think they're really going to be, bullish? That's like kind of what I'm trying to wrap my head around, is like, where is this kind, white swanish thing going to come from? And I don't see it coming from earnings. Like, who is doing more business now than, I don't know, the beginning of the year? It seems like, I don't know where it could come from. Like, I think maybe the Fed pivoting, and I know you have thoughts on this, and I'd love to hear where your mind's at with the Fed. That's seemingly like the only kind of white swanny thing. And I mean, maybe the U.S. Congress, Treasury, whatever, pushes the Fed or says, we don't care what you're doing, we're going to sign in $1 trillion stimulus or something. We're seeing, midterms are coming up, economies being in the dirt, not really something we typically see during election cycles. I tend to prop that up. I don't know what other kind of facets maybe, or your thoughts.
So here, let me pull up the interest rate chart real quick, or the Fed funds rate.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that because everyone, the biggest narrative floating around right now is the pivot. Everyone's screaming Fed pivot, Fed pivot. And there's really no reason to believe that. And if you're somebody that thinks that the Fed can just pivot and just go and markets will recover and Fed's just going to pivot and we're good, I mean, I don't think you're really thinking it through. And that's just my opinion, because if you look at the consumer price index,
I still think they will pivot, and I still think that's a fair statement. There's no data to say they're going to pivot.
Okay, so here, they could pivot like a soft pivot. They could go, okay, we're going to raise by 50 basis points, and then the markets react well. There could be a soft pivot, right? And then they might actually increase again, and then it goes. Honestly, who knows? I just don't think we're going to get a full Fed pivot.
I don't think that there's any data to support it at this moment. Unemployment numbers aren't there. CPI isn't there. Housing market hasn't cooled. Like, none of the things are there that they would logically, pivot based on. However, one thing I think I keep in mind is the Fed. What have they said over the last 2 years? They have led us the wrong direction using forward guidance over and over and over again. Inflation isn't real. Okay, maybe it's real, but it's only temporary. Okay, maybe it's not temporary, but it's not a problem. Okay, it's a huge problem, but we have it under control, or we're going to get under. Like, they keep kind of giving us a narrative that's in the wrong direction. And so maybe I'm being a little tinfoil hatty, but at some point, what they're feeding us about increasing rates and continuing is also going to, in my opinion, be backtracked on. I'm not sure what the catalyst will be. I mean, maybe it's unemployment boosting up and inflation coming down, but I don't see that realistically happening, at least in, I don't know, 12 months. Like, could you see these numbers, these huge numbers, get under control that quickly? I kind of
that's a good question, and I think that, like you said, we've had a really bad track record from the Fed in terms of giving us the correct expectation, and everything's been wrong. All Fed expectations have been shattered.
Yep.
Now, I don't think they're stupid. I think that they knew this, but they needed to lead the herd in sort of like a gentle way, where it's like, okay, we're going to introduce this idea of inflation. No, it's not going to be that bad. Okay, maybe it will be. Okay, it's pretty bad. And it's like slowly they just roll it out like, oh, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. So that we're not going to like react horribly all of a sudden. And they just, Jerome Powell just gets on and says, we're screwed, guys. And then everyone just goes nuts.
I'm still waiting.
So they have to
still
like
waiting for that.
They have to like slowly tell you that you're screwed, to the point when you realize it, you're like, oh, well, yeah, I guess I knew that already. Like, so it's like a slow rollout of reality. But we can see that the CPI, the consumer price index, is at the highest level since 1983, effectively. And so the idea that the Fed is going to be able to lower rates anytime soon is kind of just like a pipe dream, because
agreed.
It's going to start looking more like the 60s to the 80s with the federal funds rate. From the 60s to the 80s, every interest rate hike was higher than the last high, right? Until inflation was under control, which you go back to the consumer price chart here, inflation goods under control. And then the Fed's like, okay, every interest rate hike is higher than the last high until we get to near zero. We're entering a macro shift where we have lower highs in interest rates, and now we're coming up, and it's like we're getting a real big pivot, like a real big shift in the macro here. So I think that, and now I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but I think that
I like it.
When you have a macro shift like that, where they're likely going to have to sustain rates for longer than they're telling us, right? Because they don't want to tell us all at once exactly what they have to do. I think they're slowly, again, rolling out these details. Higher for longer than they're basically lying about how high and how long it has to remain high.
Yeah.
Which means that it's going to be difficult for markets to really grow in the way that they've grown before. And this is just logic. If you just look at from 1980s, right, the interest rates. Now this is 1980s on the left. All the way to zero, right? From the 1980s, interest rates go all the way to near zero. And if you look at the market, since then, what have we seen? I mean, pretty solid up, up only. Now, the area where the Federal Reserve is raising rates is back here from the 60s to the 80s. Rates are going up. And what's happening to the market? It's flat. It's pretty much flat. So I think it's possible, just like Stanley Druckenmiller said, we could have a flat market for the next 5-10 years. Now,
it's definitely possible.
That doesn't mean that there's no upside, or it doesn't mean there's nothing happens. A lot of individual companies will do really well. Bitcoin could do really well. But what we're talking about is like something like this, where the S&P comes down, rallies into a new all-time high, and everyone says, see, the bears were wrong, comes down, hits a slightly lower low, comes up, goes to a new high, comes down again. And it's just like this really wacky market. And we see these broadening wedge patterns historically throughout stock market history.
It's kind of what we've seen on Bitcoin as well. At this point, we had a higher high followed by a lower low down to 17.5. It's somewhat reminiscent of the last 2 years of Bitcoin. I could see it.
Yeah. I'm the thing about it. People always get scared. They go, "So should I just come back in 10 years then? Like nothing's going to happen?" And it's like, no. Again, the indexes, you're going to see, flat markets. Some companies may not see that much growth, but some of the biggest companies that exist today, like Apple and Amazon, I mean, a lot of them were starting, I guess, where was it? Really, like in the 80s, like right here. So there's actually a huge opportunity to get into the next set of top players. And we have a huge technological evolution, huge technological shift, I should say, coming, where we're going to have artificial intelligence reach levels we've never thought that it could possibly happen. right? We're
Have you
talking
messed
about,
around with any of the AI stuff yet?
I've seen all the videos of all the artwork
Oh,
and like
dude.
it's pretty cool.
I'm an AI artist now. I have like a new profession. I've been like messing with it, and it is incredible. Like, it's incredible the way that
Yeah,
it
but
mimics like what you see, but I can't even describe it. And I know that that's going to apply to everything going forward. We're gonna have this strange like logic that produces like very human mimicking, but like at the same time kind of unnatural or supernatural.
so
It's
here's what's
wild.
going to happen though. Again, AI learns, has perfect learning capabilities. So it's going to take all the inputs from all the people and everything they're saying, doing, drawing, and then they're going to be able to replicate exactly what you would do, like exactly. It's going to be able to mimic human behavior to a point where you can't tell the difference. So anyway, we're going off on a tangent, but this is where AI is heading. It's going to become indistinguishable from human behavior, in my opinion, in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah,
So,
oh yeah, for sure. On that timeline, for sure.
So again, you can get into some of these new technologies that are likely to explode in the next few decades. And
I
that's
doubt that
coming
they.
now, right? That's
I don't think
coming
they'll
now.
suffer like in the same way. You know, maybe they won't grow as fast, but like yeah, like they won't.
Virtual
They
reality,
won't care about a
augmented
10-year
reality.
bear market.
Yeah. You know, they
No,
won't, they definitely won't care.
no, won't make any difference. That market will explode anyway.
Yep.
It's wild. I think energy, just energy period. So it's like storing energy grids, energy production, AI. Let's see, anything that's automated really that takes away human work. I think those things have very bright 10, 20, 30, 40, 50-year futures. Oh, and medicine if we ever get our shit together in the US.
Well,
Medicine in general.
there's so much corruption with medicine. It's more profitable for people to constantly be sick.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a problem. That's a problem of, is it a capitalism problem or is it a corruption problem? I don't know. I think there's arguments to be made
it's a
in every
mix of
direction.
everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you we don't have to talk about, did you hear about the sushi swap founder?
oh well, I saw a chart today. It was like from Crypto Whale or whatever. It was like sushi drops 12% on the news that the founder did something. I forget what it was.
Yeah. We don't need to say it. You did something that you shouldn't do, and if you do, please don't record it. Whatever it was, I assume it was recorded, or else we wouldn't know about it. Maybe, yeah.
Oh
Yeah, moving along.
Maybe I don't want to know.
No, you don't actually know. I do. I'll DM you, but not family friendly. That's what I'll say.
Wow.
Yeah, weird stuff going on today. It seems mostly NFT oriented too. Like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, they're being probed now, I guess, by the SEC.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, right? They were literally on like talk shows, SNL or whatever the hell. Like they were just everywhere. Like SEC is going to take a look, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, people think they're invulnerable. Like I just kind of managed to get into some of these NFT influencer Web3 groups more lately. And it's funny to hear them have the same conversations that we had in crypto. Like, what are we going to do? Like most of these projects, aren't following through, or, kind of like pointing the scam finger at each other. It's really wild to me to see the exact same story kind of unfolding here. And most of these people don't think that they're ever going to face any problems the same way people didn't think they were going to face problems in 2017, 2018. And I just kind of sit back and like, well, yeah, just let the SEC decide in the future, I guess. You guys don't need to try to, I don't know, self-police. Because I think that's what Bitcoin maximalism tried to do, kind of like self-police the space. And like, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all.
Yeah, no. We're going to have a period, I think, coming up in the not so distant future where we're going to have like pretty hardcore regulation. Like it's not going to be the Wild West forever.
True. Even the Wild West is not the Wild West anymore.
Eventually it gets developed, and then there's more sheriffs, and then there's more laws, and then that's just, there's going to be more agencies created. So surveil Bitcoin, blockchain surveillance companies. I mean, if you're good at blockchain surveillance, you could start a blockchain surveillance company, and I think you would see tremendous growth in the next 10 years.
Yeah,
So that's
actually
an
agree.
idea right there.
There's another one. Yeah,
Blockchain
we're
surveillance.
railing off the alpha here. The
You're kind
jobs
of
of
the
the next
enemy
10
at that
years.
point, but
Yeah, I don't see, like, I don't know. I'm a maximalist, but very unorthodox maximalist. And the way I see it is like kind of for crypto, everything in my mind is like inevitable. Like, so in the sense of if regulation was going to come, it was inevitable, right? And so this isn't a surprise to me. It's almost like an expectation. And it's comes down to basically, I don't believe that regulation can rein in Bitcoin, like whatever that means. Because Bitcoin, I don't think can be controlled in that level. I think many other things can be. And so kind of the inevitability of it is like almost like a come at me bro mindset. It's like, yeah, like this is, we have to tackle this problem at some point. We have all these kind of hurdles ahead. And the reason that I believe in Bitcoin is I believe it can overcome those hurdles. I don't feel that way about everything. Maybe I'm divergent.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that like could happen, which I don't think it will, because I mean, if the government hasn't already learned that the war on drugs doesn't work, right? Obviously, it's just an unregulated underground market, right? And everyone gets it anyway. Everyone can get it whenever they want, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like it doesn't do anything. So if you ban Bitcoin and treat it like narcotics, and it's like, oh, you own Bitcoin, it's basically like you have possession of drugs, or you're a financial terrorist. I don't know what the hell they would do. It would be complete chaos. It would be complete chaos. They wouldn't be able to control it. How the hell do you control that? You know what I mean?
You don't.
It's just
you mean you put your citizens in jail or something. You know what I mean? Like, you don't control it. You control the individual, which just damages citizens, right?
And I think the bigger picture there is that the United States has actually already said that they don't want to do any major regulation like that because it would set the U.S. back behind all the other countries in terms of progress. Like, why would they want U.S. to be on the back seat of the blockchain industry when it's about to go through a huge boom? They actually have said at the comptroller of the currency, I forget who said it. They said they don't want to do that. They actually would like to have everyone in the U.S. get on board and actually be very familiar with it and actually have the U.S. lead in the space.
I mean, that's the right choice, right? That's the right choice. I think kind of something that I've always imagined too is it's almost like I don't believe it can be regulated at the level that people think. Like, it certainly, you can regulate around it. But I also think there's some hesitation because imagine, the mighty US government going after some piece of software and just fumbling, just not being able to actually follow through with their claims, end up just putting people in jail for basically no reason. I think that is that's a big threat to their authority, to their hegemony, whatever the word is. Like, I think there's a little reluctance because maybe they're aware that it won't really go well. Maybe they're trying to avoid maybe an embarrassing war on drugs again. Maybe not. Maybe I'm giving it too much credit.
It's something like that. They know that it would just be like there would be, I don't know, maybe it would start some sort of like, not a revolution, but there'd be like protests. There'd be like, it would be so crazy. It's better for the U.S. to just say, hey, look, use it responsibly and tell us what your wallet is.
Yeah, and pay your taxes.
Yeah, pay your taxes and register a wallet. That's what they're going to do.
I've used crypto
your wallet, etc.
Like 6 years, and I've never done anything illegal. I've never bought anything illegal. I've never funded, whatever. Like, I've never done anything illegal with it. If it were to become illegal just because, just having it, that would be wild. Like, that'd be wild to my existence.
Now all of a sudden you're just a criminal. Like,
just a criminal for no reason, for having 12 words written down on a piece of paper. I'd protest the crap out of that. I don't think it's ever going to come to that, though. I think maybe other countries will, more authoritarian regimes might. But I really think that we're going to see the globe try. Someone's going to try to do it, and it's just going to be embarrassing. Like, it's going to be It's just not going to work. It's just going to make them look bad. And I think maybe that is kind of a catalyst to more mainstream adoption. Is like, look, this didn't work. They tried it. Didn't work.
I don't know. Well, I think it'd be hilarious if Joe Biden legalizes weed, which apparently he's done already or something, or he's about to do. And then they make crypto illegal. And there's just like, it's just like now everyone's a criminal. Like,
more on Bitcoin. That would be ridiculous.
They're not going to do that.
I think someone had a question for you, Michael. What was your question? He said, "Do you see my question about IRS monopolizing crypto through taxation?" I didn't. Where is it? It sounded like a good one.
Wait,
I don't
that's
see
an
it, brother.
interesting idea. Monopolizing crypto through
Yeah.
taxation?
I asked him to say it again. I don't know if he saw it.
I mean, they're going to try to take control of crypto in any which way possible.
Yep.
I'm very certain that
Absolutely.
there's already going to be, there's probably already big like FBI, CIA, NSA Bitcoin wallets that exist. They probably have a ton. They probably have a ton of it, and they have enough of it to feel okay about the price going to the moon. That they have a lot of it. I bet you.
It would seem silly not to. I mean, like it seems silly for the government not to. They do typically auction it off, though. Historically, almost everything they've seized that I'm aware of, they've auctioned off.
I would assume they have some.
I would assume that there's some somewhere. I would assume. Why not? If you can print money, why not? You know, if you see something as a threat, why not just hedge?
If it's a potential Bitcoin is actually in a way like the world's first global cross-border currency.
Yeah,
it's like the world's first where it's like you can transact anywhere without anyone's permission. So in a way, if they're smart, they would see that and go, okay, Bitcoin is actually the world's first global currency. Like it's the world's first, like without a question, you can transact anywhere with it.
Yeah. So, it's even more than that. It's even more than that.
It's smart to hold some.
It's created like a global, like a ubiquitous global market for energy and for processing power. If you think of it that way, like you could be on an island in the middle of the ocean. If you had a power plant there and you had, the setup for a mining rig, you could produce value and you wouldn't need anything else. All you need is the electricity and the hardware. Obviously you need a connection to the internet, whatever. But like the thought is there, and if you think about it, that doesn't exist in any capacity. Like that's never existed in that sense. You've always needed, you've never been able to be so isolationist about one specific activity that you are with Bitcoin. It's a global thing. I
don't know if you saw my Twitter post. I actually took solar panels, put them outside.
I love solar
panels. Plugged it into my laptop.
Did it work?
The electric generator, and it worked. It had enough output to power the laptop to charge it, and I was mining free crypto. Though the laptop sucks for mining, but it's like free. It's just like the sun is powering the laptop, and it's just spitting money out. It's like that. It was pretty cool.
That is really cool. That is like actually really cool. I'm sure you produced $0 worth of Bitcoin.
It was like 20 cents. I wasn't mining Bitcoin, but
well, yeah, like but that's the theory. Like that's the kind of value prop is there's nothing else you can do that with. I get, at least at scale. I guess you could go online and be a customer service agent and make money, but like you can't scale that in the way of you can just add more panels, add more mining rigs and stuff. And we're seeing that happen. Hash rate seems unfazed, and I've been saying this to my viewers a lot. Pay attention to hash rate. It seems unfazed by these prices. And what does, read in between the lines there? What does that mean? It doesn't mean Bitcoin has to go up in price. But what it does suggest is there is large capital investment that is not afraid of what's going on right now in the price of Bitcoin. It doesn't guarantee it has to go up or anything, but not phased, man.
It means that the fundamentals of Bitcoin are at least stable, if not growing, like if not getting better. That's what that means to me.
Oh wait, I wanted to make sure I pulled this up, guys. If you're sitting there and you haven't subscribed to Sir Kevin, you need to do so.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Here's his channel. His link's in the video description.
People.
Yeah, nice 500. Follow him on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter. Didn't mean to pull that up. Whoops. Follow him. Good guy. Here we go. Got to show.
I would very much appreciate a like and a follow. And if any of my followers are watching this from Twitter or YouTube, definitely subscribe to Tom. He's streaming all the time. He's actually got some really awesome content on TikTok now, which I just saw. So cool. Like some of the coolest videos. Like I was like watching your TikToks and like the info that's jammed into 30 seconds of all like the detail. Like it was just so cool. I was like, dude, damn.
I appreciate it. I've had like multiple creators reach out about it, and it's such a good feeling. Because I've never been able to deliver content like that. If you've watched my live streams, usually more complex, more long-winded not short, brief, and kind of friendly content. So I'm very happy.
I think that's where you're going to probably grow the most. If you keep that quality, that the TikTok format you created is just, it's on fire. Like it's gonna explode. You already got 100,000 views on a video, right?
It's like almost there. It's edging.
Yeah, it's gonna pop. People are gonna love it.
I'm ready. YouTube doesn't seem so fond of them. I think it's just the short content format. YouTube like barely shows them.
You know what? I noticed that YouTube is great for consistency, consistent views, consistent followers, but it's kind of hard to grow, especially in a bear market. I mean, the next bull market it'll be great, but right now it's slow and no one cares. Bitcoin's near the lowest low, and it's just like everyone's sad.
Everyone's sad faced. That's true. I think that's when this kind of more friendly content will do well. I think once people come back and are new, hopefully, I don't know. We'll find out. But I'm stoked on it. I don't know. Is there anything you're working on that you'd like to share?
Nothing I can actually share.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm working with CryptoWatch and some cool stuff that's coming out.
With what? Sorry, it broke up.
CryptoWatch, the platform I use here.
Okay. Oh yeah.
The app is already downloadable on the App Store. You go to the app, and then there's some cool stuff that I'm not allowed to talk about that's coming out with that. And that's all I can say until it actually is. I think it's actually going to come out fairly soon.
Okay. Well, don't spill the beans yet, but yeah, definitely check out CryptoWatch. I'll check it out. I've been using TradingView, but they don't pay me, so.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to spice up the content in the bear market a little bit. Like, you know how I made have you been watching in my videos with like the edits and like the movie-esque style stuff? I
have seen some stuff and it did look good.
Yeah, so I've just been like, that's kind of what I'm focusing a little bit on, trying to do stuff like that. And other than that, I mean, you know, just accumulating a little bit, waiting it out. That's what I've been up to. How about you?
Same. Yeah, honestly, same thing. Like, what else is there to do? This isn't my first bear market, so I guess I'm kind of accustomed to the pain. But like, I don't know, man. We've been in the same price range for 110 days. I'm just struggling to like go live because I don't have a lot of time. I don't have anything new to say. It's like we're kind of right where we were last time. I've been trying to mix it up.
Yeah,
with stocks
it's hard, man. Going live. I don't think people realize how exhausting it actually is. Because you like, especially if it's just you have to sit there, be entertaining, always say something. You can't stop talking. You know, that would be terrible, right? People won't watch it. They'll just click out. The views will go down.
Yep.
You got to keep talking. You got to keep entertaining. You have to have stuff to say. And by the end of it, you're like, so you're just like, whew, man. And doing that every day, man, that's really hard. That's really hard.
I definitely don't do it every day. I should. Well, I was doing it like every day last year. Yeah. Last year, when it was, you know, we'd go live and instantly we'd have 1,000 viewers or something. I was going live a lot. I'm trying to do it more, but jeez, I'm not going anywhere. I was streaming in the last bear market. Actually, when did you start streaming, Kevin? I don't know.
I actually started my channel in January of 2018 at the top, right when we topped. And basically I gave a prediction in February of 2018 of Bitcoin hitting 2,500, and we hit 3,100. So that's damn good. That was pretty close. So that's how I got my start, was people followed me for that call. And then I started streaming in November of 2018.
Okay.
Well, it was when I streamed before then, but that was when I went daily.
Yeah.
And the market was just crashing, and people were like, whenever you went live, it was like a heart attack because I knew we were crashing. So I would go live every time we dumped. I would go live, and people would like have a heart attack when they saw my notification come up. But that's when I started. I stopped streaming so much because, again, it is hard to always have something to say.
Yep. And keeping it fresh,
and keeping it fresh, unless the market's just like pumping to the moon, which when it is, you know, it's easy to go live. When it's like this and literally nothing's happening,
even if it's dumping, I'm good. I'm good. Dumping. But if it's just this, if it's still 19,000 to 20,000, it's like, what are you, people want you to say something new. And it's like, what can I even say? Where we were yesterday, the candle's a tiny red candle. Maybe it was green for a while.
And you can't even please everyone, because if you say something bullish, half the chat says you're an idiot. If you say something bearish, half the chat says you're an idiot. And it's just like,
Well, I mean, we're
I'm saying
idiots, you
for
know.
me.
It's okay. It's okay. We're just idiots, and we're fine with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Dude, well, I think we've been on about an hour. Do you,
Yeah, it was chill. It was cool.
Anything kind of you didn't get to, you wanted to get to? I wanted to give you enough time to chill yourself.
We talked a lot. I mean, we talked about
true.
Bitcoin stock market correlation. We talked about the US dollar index. We talked about the federal funds rate. We talked about
a crypto revolution.
And we talked about a crypto. We went all over the place today.
We went everywhere. Yeah, it was good. This was very good.
We went pretty casual towards the end, but the beginning was pretty full. So
yeah, this was not boring. This was good. Everyone out there, listen, it was good. You liked it. So hit the like button, subscribe.
But yeah, exactly. Man, thanks for having me on. It's been, I think we should do it more often.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially during the bear. Like, I'll be here. Yeah. You were here. You were here last bear market. I was here last bear market. We'll be here till it gets good again.
We're numb to the pain, so we're good.
Seriously. So numb.
People are complaining. They think it hurts, and it's like, yeah, it'll come back.
Yep. And when it comes back, you'll be like, oh my God. And then it'll be over and you'll be like, wait, what happened? That's the whole full cycle. You think, like, I got so taken off guard by 69K being the top.
Oh yeah. I was so bullish. I was so bullish that my pants
I was so bullish.
I was so sure that we were going to go to 75 at least. At least a little bit more. It was the top. But honestly, I should have known because the S&P reversed. But I was so blinded by the all-time high break that I was like, we're definitely going up. And I wasn't looking at the stock market anymore because I was so blinded. Just like can't see anything but bull.
Nothing but bull.
The stock market flipped down and I didn't even look. And I should have known, to be honest. I really should have known.
God, I could go on for days about this. Like it's not supposed to end this way. We've never seen a double top. What is that BS? We've never seen a double top end of bull market in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's Wall Street. It's Wall Street. Well, okay, I shouldn't say it's Wall Street. It's the fact that the market cap's higher, but there's more sophisticated traders and more sophisticated players now, and they don't care about Bitcoin. They'll drop it like a hot potato again. Like
that's true.
Wall Street does not. They're not hardcore Bitcoiners. Because
me and you, the Bitcoiners, we saw an all-time high break, and we're like, "Let's go to the moon, baby! Not selling to die. Like, let's go. This is how it goes." And they're like, "Dump profit." Yeah, that makes sense. It does make sense. It's a different profile investor. It's
actually, this goes back to one of your TikToks, which is when you have the price go slightly above the last high, then reverse. There's a lot of liquidity that comes in, so that they can take in their short positions, and then they dump it. Like those slightly higher highs, slightly lower lows. This is part of the Wyckoff system, the Wyckoff distribution system, and that's kind of what we saw. So sophisticated traders sophisticated traders have come to the crypto market. So you got to be smarter now. Be smarter now. Think a little bit harder. It's probably not just going to be simple parabola to the moon every time anymore. Yeah, it'll be more like what we've seen, which are markups, markdowns, like how the price is just like going up, right, and then all of a sudden markdown, markdown in price, and then mark up. And it's just like very different. It's like, it's not this like
only up until it dooms itself.
Until it's like a clear, perfect, beautiful parabola top with a nice rejection on the weekly. And then you just know it's going to come down. That's what it was always like back in the day. And now it's just not like that.
No.
But anyway.
Well, maybe we'll zoom out in like a year, 2-3 years from now, and we'll be like, hey, it was the same. I don't know how that'll happen, but maybe we will. Yeah, it's not
maybe
possible.
It's a 5-year, 10-year parabola. That'd be pretty cool.
Exactly. Something crazy. I'm gonna hold out hope until 17.5 breaks. I'm just gonna hold on to that hopium. Then I'll be a sad boy. But that's okay. I've been a sad boy before. Yeah, let's wrap it up, man. Kevin, tell them where to find you, and I think we'll put a pin in it.
Yeah, thanks so much for checking out the stream, guys. Thank you, Tom, for having me. If you go on Twitter, type in Kevin Svenson _. Now there are like hundreds of scammers, hundreds of imposters. Do not fall for the trap of the scammers, the imposters. Don't click links. Don't respond to WhatsApp numbers. It's all bullcrap. Kevin Svenson _. You can find me on Twitter, and then Kevin Svenson Crypto. You just type that in on YouTube. I'll come up. So that's it.
I'm putting it in the chat for you. Yeah, I think our fam knows about the bots, man. Like, but
the bots on my
luck.
Twitter
good
are
luck.
Insane, dude. It's so crazy.
I have like, I mean, you have it too, but I have been getting nothing but DMs this week from people like, "Hey, did you just follow me?" Or, "Hey, you just followed me 3 times." Or,
Oh, I saw that. I saw that
dude,
Twitter
it's
today.
insane. I don't know what to do. Like, and they block you now. They're so clever. Like, they make it so we can't even see the accounts doing it. It just says like, you can't see this tweet. So I can't even block them. I can't even remove the comment. It's so stupid.
I have to literally go on another Twitter account, look up my page, click on it, look at the comments, find the link to the scammer, and then go back to my account and block them. Like, it's just ridiculous.
That's ridiculous though. Like, I didn't think of that, but like, I'm not even gonna do that. That's way. That's
it's
way
not
too
worth
much.
it. They auto generate. There's new ones every day. So anyway.
Yep. All right,
That's
man.
the scammer rant.
Yeah, we'll get into that next time. Kevin, thanks for being here, my friend. Guys, go follow him. Great dude. We'll do this again soon, and I guess Bitcoin hasn't moved this entire time, so I think that's a great ending point, right?
Yeah, the update for Bitcoin, guys, the daily update.